Okay, so I've started recording. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohit Yadav, and as part of the Oracle ACE Apprentice uh, contribution task, as I can say, I am trying to record one product usage from my end. So right now it's on 16th of Feb, 4:29 p.m. Australia Sydney time. And today, the objective of this recording is just to showcase how we are using some of the Oracle products for one of our client. So bear in mind, because this will have copyright and proprietary data from client perspective, even though it will be a lower environment, still it's not recommended for public usage. So I will upload the recording on my Google Drive, but once the assessment is done, I might have to take it down. So yeah, I'll keep the demonstration limited from perspective of a data and solutioning point of view, but basically it is just to give a high level overview of what all products we are using and how the current scheme of things do work at our end. So today I'm going to talk about two major Oracle products that we are using. So of course, the client that I'm working with is New South Wales Health. So if I can just go to New South Wales Health, those who don't know, it's one of the largest health providers, government health providers in the Southern Hemisphere. So based out of New South Wales state. Uh, and they have a very large solution footprint of Oracle. So their payroll is currently on eBusiness Suite, running since 2012, and it processes around 200,000 employee payroll every fortnight. So quite a complex scenario because it deals with doctors, nurses, ambulance staff, casuals, full-time, and so on and so forth. So from an HR payroll perspective, they use, as I said, Oracle E-Business Suite, the release 12.2. And on the recruitment side, they have licenses and have been using the Taleo Enterprise Edition. So that was a product which was bought by Oracle many years ago, and it's part of the Oracle suite uh, of all the solutions. So for recruiting and onboarding is Taleo Enterprise Edition. So what I am going to showcase today is how some of the basic information that gets transferred from eBusiness Suite into Taleo, because Taleo uses some of the building blocks like the organization location and job field data as part of its core structure, and how that is being consumed or interfaced from the eBusiness Suite is what I'm going to showcase. So I manage that process as part of a BAU support. So I'll also talk about the different integration and how the data flow happens. And in that sense, I can give you a high level overview of how the data flow happens. So starting with, if I have to land onto the recruiting center page, so these are just the different environments that we have, and we have a so I'll not log in into production. Let me log in into lower environment as I mentioned. So this is our lower environment. SPV stands for Service Pillar B. That's our dev and test environment. So, and we do have single sign-on credentials as part of Oracle identity. So this is our landing page of the whole recruitment system. Now it's a custom build application. It uses Taleo as an underlying core product, but there are bolt-on solutions and I would say some auxiliary systems that are built on ADF application. So this skin is custom. There are a lot of activities like we do not create requisitions and candidates directly into Taleo system. We create it via this custom ADF application. It has a custom approval workflow, and then eventually, once it is approved, it goes and hit the Taleo Enterprise System Recruiting Center. But yeah, that's a separate discussion because that is like very specific New South Wales health related solution. Today, the objective of this video is to showcase the core information that gets transferred. So when I click on this recruiting center tile, it navigates or redirects me to the actual Taleo Enterprise Edition, the cloud-based application. So how do I know it's Taleo? So if I go to resources and about, this will show me the product information. So this landing page is the Taleo Enterprise. Currently, we are on 25D.0.1, which got up like the upgrade happened couple of months ago, I believe. So it's an Oracle product, Oracle cloud-based offering. And here, if I go to, so here I can see the requisitions, what all job requisitions have been created because I have a support role. So my screen, I have access to almost all the requisition. So it takes a bit of time. And similarly, I can have access to the list of candidates. This is our lower environment, as I said. So staging 0, 1. And so still when the environment gets cloned, so we do get the real-time data here as part of the cloning. So it might be a stale data, but still these are all existing record in production. Now, just like any enterprise system has its building blocks. Some people call it global design elements. Some people call it workforce structures. So similar to that, Taleo also depends upon three core information. So they call it organization, location, and job field, OLF. That's called the contextualization from a product perspective. So what that means is based on a given combination of organization, location, and job, I can contextualize my setting. So any organization, if they have multiple legal employers or legal entities, they can hide that data based on contextualization. Like to give an example, let's say I am a global organization. I have a different job layout for uh, India and a different job layout for Australia and different job layout for Singapore. So based on the location or geography, I can design the layout and then add it to the user profile to kind of contextualize based on where that user is logged in. So the workforce structure element, organization, location, and job fields are very important and critical because that will help me to design the layout and control it. As I said, contextualization as it is called. So if we look at what we have at New South Wales Health, I was trying to see administration, and if I look at the organization structure that we have over here, so we from a system functionality perspective, you can have up to level 11. We are only using up to level 9. So like parent, child, further child, so like a flat hierarchy. Now these are the different levels we have enabled from a value perspective. Obviously, the topmost value has to be the parent or the business group in some nomenclature perspective. So we have New South Wales Health as our level 1. Underneath that, because it's just a statewide organization, so all our organizations are within the New South Wales Health. So we have different legal entities which denotes level 2. And if I click on any particular organization, then I go to level 3 and so on and so forth. So these are level 3. If I look at this one, this goes level 4, and depending upon up to what level that organization goes to. So this is organization. Similarly, if I look at the location component, so these are location again from a structure perspective, we just have the topmost is obviously country, state, region, city, and facility. And if I look at the values that we have set up here on solution perspective, so yes, everything is within Australia, and as I said, we are a state-based health organization. We most of our locations will fall under the state, New South Wales Health. Now, there New South Wales Health and Australian Capital Territory, they share a border. So there are few locations that are part of our recruiting system, but they are geographically they are in a different state. So we had to define two states to cater to our requirement. But if I look at New South Wales Health, so under that I have different regions, which is my level 3. So level 1 was Australia, then state, and then under that the different regions. Now here, if I look at Sydney, then come down here. So this is my level 4. So I pick one value because I'll show my demonstration is for that particular value. So it's good to actually see what is the existing value. So I will look at, I was looking for a suburb called Chatswood. So we go here. And under this, these are my level 5. So let me look at this lowest level location. So Zenith Center here, just see the address name 821 Pacific Highway. I'll just copy and paste it somewhere because I'm going to use that as my demonstration example on how the values are getting linked from. So this is my existing value of address. Okay, it's in Chatswood. So if I look at the hierarchy, we started off with Australia, New South Wales Health, Sydney, Chatswood, Zenith. Now, how at a high level, like if you want to visualize how this location can be used, if I have to create a job offer that is based out of Zenith Center. So when I'm creating that requisition, I can use the org job and location fields and I can tag the Zenith Center location there. So what that will show is anyone who searches for Zenith Chatswood location, that will pick up this job advert. So it's it's a bit of vague example, but again, uh, in a one-liner, if I have to explain, any configuration that we do has to rely on the organization location and job value that decides the security part and also the data access part of things. Now, how this value is getting created. So, as I said, our core HR and payroll system is e-business suite. So we do not create the organization location separately in the Taleo application. We get the feed from EBS. In that way, the source of information remains EBS, and then there are custom integration that pull that information or push that information into Taleo, and then Taleo gets updated. So if I look at the existing data in my EBS environment. So again, I have to look for the non-prod corresponding environment, which is our test environment. So this test environment of EBS, this is linked to my Taleo SO1 environment. So this is all for SIT purposes, for any unit testing and all. We similarly have a UAT environment and then of course the prod. So if I quickly, sorry for the ping, so I'll show you the core data. So if I go here, look, not here, organization, let the Java form open. So this again, as the banner suggests, this is our test environment in the e-business suite area. Let me open it. So these are the very famous EBS Java forms, or some people call it PUI forms in nomenclature, professional user interfaces. Now here, I'm in the HRMS manager responsibility if I look at any existing location. So remember, we were looking at Zenith Center, the Taleo side. Now I will look at the corresponding e-business suite location. So I copy this. Query mode F11, enter the value. So here, this is my source of information. So someone creates a location in eBusiness Suite with the name, address, and obviously there are certain other fields depending upon the business requirement. Or if someone updates this location and then we have an overnight integration that picks up any delta change. So delta can be any change to an existing HR location or any new HR location, and then it pushes that into Taleo. Now, how does that happen? Because this is an on-premise application, so it has a data which is on-premise. Taleo is a cloud application. So how does that happen? So obviously data extraction in the eBusiness Suite side, we are using a normal PL SQL package that creates and prepare the data. So let me show you with that. Uh, we try to do one thing. Let's change the address. So I'll just say updated. Okay. So I've just done a dummy update here. Save. What I'll also do, I'll try to now, let me not make the change. So I've just changed the address. Very simple transaction. Okay, if I see it has recorded my, as a who column, it has recorded my name. So now we have a custom program that is built which pulls out any changes to location. So I'll run that integration. So it's a custom PL SQL program. We obviously, just like any other client, we have different rice component IDs. So we here we have IF6000. I'm running it as of today. So what this is doing, this is just calling a PL SQL package in the eBusiness Suite side, and it's trying to gather all the HR locations which were either created in the last, like since the last run, or that have been updated, and it generates a flat file. So if I have to show you that flat file, I need to log into our Unix box and we go here. So let me find it because it can be a bit of challenge to find the data. So one, hopefully this is my file. So the program finished. Don't worry about the warning because there are certain validations. All we want to ensure is whether the data got picked up from the eBusiness Suite application. So yes, it picked up one record, and because it found a change to the existing value. Now you would question, okay, how did this program found a change? Because it is not talking to Taleo yet. So how did it find out that there is a change? Okay, like change in the old and the new value. So as I was saying, this program 600, which is 6000, that's our custom built program. So we have a net change table, and that's where we kind of compare any existing data in the eBusiness Suite base table and compare it with the net change table. And if there is any change, then it means we need to extract that record. So if I look for the net change table, how I know all this is obviously because I've been using this system. So if you look, that's the custom net change table where we hold the previous snapshot of the data and then compare it with the base table. So if you look here, that's the base table in eBusiness Suite, HR locations all. It compares if there is any change, extract that data and prepare in a data file format. Now what happens after that file is prepared? Because remember, this is all on-premise database wherein Taleo is a cloud-based application. So how is that going to consume? So there is a technology where Taleo consumes data. Obviously, it's through web services. And in order to execute the import or export, they have given a tool. So it's called Taleo Connect Client. As the name suggests, it's a tool wherein we can connect to the Taleo database for either importing data or exporting data from the Taleo database. So this application is installed on our Unix server. That server has a script. So when I say script, so because this data is going to get consumed into Taleo, so it will be an import script. How that script will look like. So I have a local copy from our SVN repository. Let me try to open that up if I can find the number, hopefully 6000. So this is the import script that will expect the data in this data format. So it should expect a location name, status code, zip code, parent, location, address, code. And if you look at the data file that we generated with our custom PL SQL, where is it? So it obviously it will align with this. So first column, ignore, which is our identifier that we are using in our custom PL SQL. Second is the location code, then the location name. This number 5 is ignored, then the status code, then you have the zip code, parent code. So that's also like a custom because we need to insert or push that into the parent hierarchy in the or location hierarchy. Then your location number, which is nothing but the location code from eBusiness Suite, then the address, address 1, address 2 was blank, then you have city, code, so on and so forth. So from a development perspective, you design the columns of the TCC import, and then correspondingly you design the eBusiness Suite PL SQL package, which will export the data, prepare the data in a flat file, and then send it to the Unix server. From there, the Unix server has TCC installed. It has this import script over there, and again some custom development at the database or the DBA side that will, once the file hits that folder, which I was showing here in our solution from a solution perspective. So every integration is a folder based structure for us. When a file comes to the incoming folder or web folder, it gets consumed by, so the TCC import will call, it will consume that file, and what it does is it then invokes that TCC import, and then finally that data is pushed to Taleo, because as I said, it's an import script. So how do I know it's an import script? uh, because I have built few of them. So this LD at the end, if you see, that's for data load. And similarly, you have an export script which has a ending like underscore sq.sml. So in the TCC, you can create your own ad hoc import and export script. Uh, the whole configuration is a two file based system, like you have an import or an export script first, where you define the columns, you define the general definition of how the file or the data will get consumed or look like. So we have pipe delimiter, then you have the columns, and then every import or export script needs to have a configuration file. So if I look at configuration file for this location integration, it's nothing, but it will just be a mapping, like it will be using that import script and the file which has the data. So this is just sort of a definition. So this will use your import. It can show you somewhere. So it uses the import file and also the data file that we have been sending over Unix. Now, if I have to go and let me see, I'll just try to show you what would have happened. So when all this thing is happening, like the import script and everything, so we can monitor the different processes that are getting processed in the Taleo database. So it's via a option called Profile Wizard. So I'm connecting to my SO1 environment because obviously that's where I've run the integration. And if I create the profile, I can see what all processes have run in the last half an hour or one hour or so. So if you look here, I can see that the location merge process got triggered and it processed one record. So this is my program. And how do I know that? Because if you look at the name location hyphen merge hyphen and activate, and if I go to my import and the corresponding configuration file, it has that identifier. So it's just like a ID. Every time when you configure a configuration file or any program, let's say import or export, you try and give a unique identifier so that it's easier in the profile wizard to identify whether your process has run or not. So I can see something has run around 1646, so almost like 10 minutes back. If I look at the content of the data, so yes, I can see what was that data. So this is definitely our record, which was sent from eBusiness Suite via a flat file, and then as part of the custom development, it kinds of get consumed in the location import process, and then it has been sent into Taleo, and it shows me success. Now let's try and see it from the front end. So again, I will go into the SO1 environment, and I know the OLF structure is as part of the SmartOrg section. I'll go here, location, element management, and let me navigate again. So New South Wales, then I have to go to Sydney. I need to go to level 4, which was Chatswood. So Chatswood, and I need to look for Zenith Center, right? So we didn't change the location name, we changed the address. All we are trying to see is how the data flow happens. So if I click on Zenith Center, I can now see the address got updated. So this is at a very high level, a very small example of how we are using Oracle E-Business Suite, the workforce structure component of it, the core HR part, and then obviously some custom development to extract certain fields, and again some more technical work related to how that flat file is getting pushed onto a server, and from there the TCC import programs get invoked that consumes that file, and once that import program runs, it processes the incoming data, and because it's an import program, so it tries and push that data into Taleo. Now here one key thing is if we look at the file structure. So if you look at what kind of file is this, it's a location service with a operation as merge. So merge means if there is an update, it will go and update. If there are new records, altogether new records, like if there are no existing record in Taleo, it will go and create new records. Like tomorrow, if there is a new location that gets created in the e-business suite, which is my source of truth, that will come as a new record to Taleo. But if there is an existing location, so how do I know if it's an existing location? So if I again go to the column, so see how they have marked this code field as a lookup. Like this is my key identifier. So the data that is being sent from eBusiness Suite, if that value is found in Taleo, this field code, then whatever value has been extracted, that will go and override the existing value. If the code is not found, it means that it's a new location. Now, one question can be, how do I know where are these fields? So this is my field selection window, like column selection, and because I have picked up the entity location, so it will show me all the corresponding fields which are available for import purpose. So I can select from here. and I can add over here. If tomorrow I need to have some more fields, I can add it, I can remove it, but corresponding I need to make necessary changes in the e-business suite program as well. Otherwise there will be a mismatch and then the integration process might fail. So yeah, this is just a very small demonstration. Uh, Probably in my next video I'll talk a bit more about the export program. So this was the import. Next can be an export. Like obviously there are requirements where we want to export data out of Taleo and then maybe use it for reporting or use it for consumption in some other applications. So we will probably talk about that. So next step is obviously I'll stop recording. I'm using a custom again an application called OBS Studio to record this. I will upload it onto my Google Drive and then share it as part of the contribution, and then let's see how things go from there. But yeah, thank you. If you uh, did like this video, then or if there are any other comments, do let me know, and then I can probably use that as a feedback to work upon during my next videos. Thank you.